This quiet bank employee is about to become the most important man in one of Europe's craziest robbery plans. Not because he can fight, not because he carries a gun, but because he can do something almost no one else can: listen to a locked safe and understand exactly how to open it. Soon, a wanted thief will recruit him to crack 3 legendary vaults hidden across Europe, each one more dangerous than the last. Millions of dollars are waiting behind those doors. Interpol is already closing in. And before this is over, someone inside his own crew will betray him. But to understand why Sebastian would risk everything for these safes, we first need to know the man who created them. His name was Wagner. Wagner wasn't simply an engineer. Every vault he created was treated like a masterpiece, built with mechanisms so complex that even the world's best experts struggled to understand them. But Wagner's life changed after he lost his entire family. Broken by grief, he poured everything he had left: his pain, knowledge, and genius into 4 extraordinary safes. These weren't designed as ordinary vaults. Each one was a mechanical puzzle meant to challenge anyone brave enough to touch it. Eventually, Wagner could no longer live with his loss. He locked himself inside one of his own creations. Experts desperately tried to open it, but nobody could defeat the mechanism. Wagner died inside, turning his greatest creation into his tomb. The entire vault was later dropped into the ocean, where it disappeared beneath the water forever. But 3 Wagner safes were still somewhere in the world, and finding them had become Sebastian's greatest obsession. After uploading the video, Sebastian picks up a complicated lock sitting beside him. He closes his eyes, listens carefully, and within seconds, it clicks open. He doesn't force locks. He understands them. Unfortunately, almost nobody knows how talented he is. His videos barely get any attention, and the next morning he returns to his completely ordinary job at a bank. To everyone around him, Sebastian looks like another quiet employee. Inside his head, however, gears, combinations, and locking mechanisms never stop moving. What Sebastian doesn't realize is that someone has already noticed him. During lunch the following day, he checks his channel and discovers something unusual: 1 new view, and 1 mysterious comment. It contains an address, a password, and a short invitation telling him to come there if he wants to prove what he can really do. Sebastian doesn't hesitate. He reaches the location, gives the guard the password, and is immediately allowed inside. What he finds is nothing like he expected. A secret safe-cracking competition is underway. The rules are simple: open the safe before everyone else. The first round begins, and competitors immediately attack their locks while the crowd watches every move. Sebastian finishes 4th. Not exactly impressive, but enough to keep him in the game. The semi-final is much harder. Only 4 competitors remain, and just 2 can reach the final. This time Sebastian blocks out everything around him and focuses entirely on the mechanism. He finishes 2nd. Now, he's in the final. People in the crowd are even placing bets as the last challenge is revealed. The competitors have only 3 minutes to open an extremely difficult safe. The timer begins. Sebastian's opponent immediately gets to work. Sebastian does nothing. He simply stands there, observing. Seconds disappear. 1 minute. 2 minutes. With only 30 seconds remaining, Sebastian finally places his hands on the safe. He listens. His fingers move gently across the metal. Then he smiles. 9 seconds later, the safe opens. The entire room freezes. Something that everyone else struggled with for minutes took Sebastian only seconds once he understood the mechanism. His opponent can't accept the humiliation and charges toward him. But security grabs the man before he can reach Sebastian and throws him outside. That's when Sebastian notices a woman watching him. Her name is Gwendolyn, and she's the reason he's here. She's a professional thief, wanted by authorities across multiple countries, and she had already been watching Sebastian before the competition. Gwendolyn was the one who found his video. She was also the one who left the mysterious invitation. The next day, she suddenly approaches Sebastian while he's getting coffee, causing him to spill his drink all over himself. After the awkward introduction, she reveals the truth. She didn't invite him simply because she was curious about his talent. She needs him for something much bigger. The 3 remaining Wagner safes. The moment Sebastian hears those words, everything changes. For Gwendolyn, those safes may contain money. For Sebastian, they're the ultimate challenge. He spent years studying them, imagining what it would feel like to finally stand in front of Wagner's legendary machines. Now that opportunity is real. Gwendolyn explains that she already has a team. The only thing they're missing is someone capable of opening the safes. She leaves Sebastian with a card and walks away. That night, he can't stop thinking about the offer. Joining her means abandoning his normal life and becoming part of a serious criminal operation. But it also means facing the machines he's dreamed about for years. By morning, Sebastian has made his decision. He's in. He arrives at Gwendolyn's hideout and meets the rest of the crew. Karina is their hacker, capable of breaking into complex digital systems. Rolf is the getaway driver, trusted to outrun anyone who follows them. Then there's Brad Cage. The team's muscle, a huge, intimidating man built for situations where subtlety stops working. Sebastian looks around and realizes how insane all of this sounds. 5 people preparing to rob some of the most secure banks in Europe. He jokes that they're basically planning one enormous robbery before disappearing forever. Gwendolyn smiles. That's close enough. Sebastian still questions how such a small crew could possibly pull it off, but Gwendolyn explains that their size is actually an advantage. Fewer people means fewer mistakes, less evidence, and fewer chances for someone to expose them. Karina then reveals their targets. The first Wagner safe is in Paris. Its security is the weakest of the 3, making it the perfect place to start. The second is in Prague, protected by a much more advanced security system. And the final target is in Switzerland. That vault is one of Wagner's most complicated creations, and holds roughly 100 million. 3 legendary safes, 3 different countries, and every robbery will be more dangerous than the one before it. Soon, the crew heads for Paris. Their first target is waiting. Before the robbery begins, the team walks Sebastian through every step. His role requires him to enter the bank alone. The moment he walks through the doors, reality hits him. This isn't one of his videos. This isn't a competition. This is an actual bank robbery. His nerves nearly take over, but he follows the plan and hides inside the bathroom until the team gives him the signal. Meanwhile, Gwendolyn begins her part of the operation. She distracts a security guard outside, keeps his attention on her belongings, and quietly gets hold of his key. Once inside, she approaches an employee and asks to be taken to a private locker she previously opened using a fake identity. The employee escorts her there and then leaves. Now, Karina creates another distraction. She claims that her credit card has gone missing, pulling the bank employees into the situation and keeping their attention away from the restricted areas. With the path clear, Gwendolyn retrieves Sebastian from the bathroom. Together, they quietly take an elevator toward the vault. For Sebastian, this is the moment he's been waiting for. A Wagner safe is finally standing right in front of him. Sebastian puts on music, shuts out the pressure, and focuses on the tiny sounds coming from inside the locking mechanism. The vault contains 3 complex locks. Instead of rushing, he listens to each movement inside the machine, as if the safe itself is guiding him. The first lock opens, then the second. Finally, the third mechanism falls into place. The enormous vault door slowly moves. Sebastian stares inside at something he once believed he might never see in his lifetime. A genuine Wagner creation opened by his own hands. But Gwendolyn reminds him why they're actually there. The team quickly begins loading the cash into bags. And this victory is only step 1. Once they're ready to leave, Brad enters the bank and creates enough confusion to keep everyone's attention away from Sebastian and Gwendolyn. The 2 slip out safely. Minutes later, the entire crew is inside the getaway van, leaving Paris before anyone fully realizes what just happened. For a moment, the robbery appears perfect. It isn't. Security cameras outside the bank captured images of Gwendolyn and Brad. Those images reach Interpol officer Della, and for him, this case is personal. 5 years earlier, the same criminals escaped him. He has never forgotten it. This time, Della believes he already knows where they're heading next. Prague, while Interpol begins preparing for them. The crew celebrates its first successful robbery. During the celebration, Sebastian visits Gwendolyn in her room, where she reveals more about her past. She grew up in an extremely wealthy family but never felt loved by her parents. That isolation eventually pushed her toward Brad, and through him, deeper into the criminal world. But as Sebastian and Gwendolyn grow closer, Brad begins noticing the change, and he doesn't like it. Brad has feelings for her himself, and now he sees Sebastian as someone getting in his way. The next day, the crew travels to Prague. Their second Wagner safe is inside a bank, far more advanced than the first. Karina warns everyone that the security here operates on another level. One mistake could destroy the entire operation. But there's an even bigger problem. Officer Della is already there. Interpol agents have taken positions around the bank, waiting for the crew to make their move. Sebastian has no idea he's walking directly into a trap. Before he enters, Gwendolyn reassures him and helps him control his nerves. Sebastian gathers himself and steps inside while Karina feeds instructions to him remotely. He makes his way toward the elevator and begins moving closer to the vault. But this bank is watching everything. Security guards studying the CT feeds notice Sebastian's unusual behavior. Their suspicion grows. And when Sebastian finally reaches a locked security gate, the entire mission is suddenly one mistake away from collapsing. Sebastian is now standing in front of the locked security gate, and one wrong move could expose the entire robbery. Karina tells him to pretend he's opening it with a key, while she secretly hacks the system from outside. A few tense seconds pass. Then the gate unlocks. Sebastian slips through and finds Gwendolyn already waiting for him. Together they take the elevator toward the vault. But before they can reach it, several security guards suddenly close in. Sebastian freezes. Gwendolyn doesn't. She attacks first and quickly takes the guards down one after another. Sebastian can barely believe what he's seeing. Until now, he knew Gwendolyn was a thief. He didn't know she could fight like this. Unfortunately, the control room has already discovered that the security gate was hacked. The bank immediately enters full lockdown. Every exit seals shut. Now the crew isn't robbing a bank. They're trapped inside one. Karina realizes the original plan is finished and immediately contacts Brad. Minutes later, he enters the bank wearing a mask and carrying a weapon. Panic spreads across the entire building. Brad forces the customers and employees together before ordering a teller to start filling bags with cash. But he isn't actually there for the money. He's creating chaos. If everyone is watching him, nobody is watching Sebastian and Gwendolyn. And the distraction works. Outside, Officer Della has been monitoring the situation. But something doesn't feel right. He enters the bank himself and quickly discovers a problem that makes him furious. The Wagner safe he came here to protect isn't even in this building. It was transferred to another branch a week earlier. Della realizes the crew has manipulated him into guarding the wrong location. He immediately orders his team toward the other branch. Meanwhile, Sebastian is already working on the second Wagner safe. This one is much harder. And then he makes a mistake. The internal mechanism suddenly shifts. Sebastian immediately understands what that means. Another wrong move could permanently lock the vault. For a moment, panic takes over. Then he forces himself to slow down. He listens again. Every tiny vibration inside the machine. Sebastian finds the pattern. The first lock opens. Then the second. Finally, the third releases. The massive door swings open. They've done it. But outside the vault, the situation is collapsing fast. Karina tells Brad the job is complete and orders him to get out. Security immediately comes after him. During the escape, a bullet grazes his shoulder. Brad keeps moving. He reaches a window, jumps through it, and lands near the getaway van below. Inside the bank, Sebastian and Gwendolyn use the confusion to escape as well. They race toward the van. Sebastian throws his bag inside. Brad pulls Gwendolyn up first. Then he reaches for Sebastian. For 1 second, it looks like he's going to save him. Instead, Brad lets go. Sebastian crashes onto the street. The van speeds away without him. He just stares after it. Stunned, Brad didn't accidentally lose him. He left him behind. And now the police have spotted him. Sebastian grabs a bicycle and takes off, while officers chase him through the streets. By the time Della reaches the robbed branch, he's already too late again. The vault has been emptied. The security footage has been erased, and the crew is gone. Sebastian eventually loses the police and manages to board a train. For now, he's safe, but he's also completely alone. Inside the getaway van, Gwendolyn demands to know why Brad abandoned him. Brad claims there was no choice. Going back for Sebastian could have gotten everyone arrested. Then he reveals what he really thinks. They already have enough money. There's no reason to risk everything for the third Wagner safe. That's the final line for Gwendolyn. She gets out of the van. Karina leaves with her. Brad is now on his own. Sebastian finally makes it home, still angry over what happened. But when he opens the door, Gwendolyn and Karina are already inside waiting for him. Sebastian immediately demands an explanation. Gwendolyn tells him the truth. Brad only cared about the money. She doesn't. She still wants Wagner's final safe. Despite everything that just happened, Sebastian can't hide his reaction. The final Wagner safe is the reason he joined them in the first place. He agrees. The mission is back on. What they don't know is that Della has finally found Sebastian's old internet video. The moment he watches it, everything becomes clear. Sebastian is the safecracker. Della finally has a face and a name. Meanwhile, Sebastian, Gwendolyn, and Karina head toward Switzerland. Their final target is Wagner's last and most dangerous safe. And this time, Della believes he's ready for them. He positions his officers outside the casino where he expects the robbery to happen. Then Karina sends him a message. The crew will hit the casino at exactly 5 p.m. Della thinks she's made a huge mistake. At 5 sharp, he storms inside with his team, but the moment he speaks to the manager, his confidence disappears. The casino already received a warning about a possible robbery. Because of that warning, the vault was moved hours ago. Once again, Della has been sent to the wrong place. And that's when we discover what actually happened 8 hours earlier. Using a fake identity, Karina contacted the casino and warned them that criminals were planning to steal the vault. The manager immediately ordered security to transport it somewhere safer. Exactly what Karina wanted. Because the crew never planned to break into the casino. They planned to make the casino bring the safe directly to them. While the armored vehicle transports the Wagner vault, Gwendolyn is already hidden inside. Moments later, both guards are unconscious. She and Sebastian take their uniforms and disguise themselves as the security team. Then they transfer the enormous vault into another vehicle and simply drive away with it. Della realizes he's been fooled yet again and immediately launches a search. But there's another threat closing in. Brad and Rolf have also arrived nearby. Brad still believes he's entitled to a share of the money. When he discovers that Gwendolyn isn't at the casino, he realizes she's tricked him too. Karina learns that Brad is heading toward Gwendolyn and tries to warn her, but before she can reach them, Brad and Rolf are already moving. Then, things get even worse. Della captures Karina. Before the officers can take her phone, she manages to send Gwendolyn one final warning. Brad is coming. Then she destroys the phone so nobody can trace the others through it. Della tries to force Karina to reveal their location, but she refuses. Another officer, Beatrix, approaches the situation differently. She brings up Karina's younger brother. If Karina goes to prison, nobody will be there to care for him. That's the one threat Karina can't ignore. Eventually, she agrees to cooperate. Meanwhile, Gwendolyn is driving at full speed. And in the back of the moving vehicle, Sebastian is attempting the hardest safe of his life. Wagner's final masterpiece contains 7 separate locks. Sebastian starts his music and concentrates on the mechanism. The first lock opens, then the second, then the third. He keeps going. Only one remains. Then Gwendolyn suddenly takes a hard turn, throwing Sebastian onto the floor. But he doesn't stop. He gets back up, returns to the safe, and listens again. One final movement. One final click. The 7th lock opens. The vault door slowly swings wide. Sebastian has done something almost nobody on Earth could have done. He has opened all 3 remaining Wagner safes. For him, this was never just about stealing money. He has finally completed the challenge that defined his entire life. They stop the vehicle and begin transferring the cash into bags. But before they can leave, Brad and Rolf arrive. Brad points a gun directly at them and demands the money. Gwendolyn refuses. Brad pulls the trigger. Click. Nothing happens. He tries again. Still nothing. Gwendolyn already knew Brad couldn't be trusted. Before the mission, she secretly removed every bullet from his gun. Now she pulls out her own weapon and turns the situation around. Brad and Rolf are forced to surrender. Gwendolyn ties them to their own vehicle and leaves them there. She and Sebastian disappear with the money. Not long afterward, Della arrives. For once, he actually catches someone. Brad and Rolf are waiting for him. Sebastian and Gwendolyn keep running until they finally reach a boat near the coast. They believe they've made it. Then Della appears. Gun raised. No escape route left. Gwendolyn draws her weapon as well. For several seconds, neither side moves. She even offers Della part of the money. But money isn't what he wants. For 5 years, Della has been chasing Gwendolyn. Capturing her has become personal. Gwendolyn realizes this situation has only one ending, so she makes a deal. She will surrender. But Sebastian walks free. Della agrees. Sebastian refuses to leave her. After everything they've survived, he can't simply abandon her now. But Gwendolyn tells him this doesn't have to be goodbye. She promises that one day she'll find him again. With no other choice, Sebastian boards the boat. He watches Gwendolyn disappear behind him as he moves farther out across the water. The quiet bank employee who once dreamed about impossible safes has now opened Wagner's greatest creations and walked away with a completely different life. But Gwendolyn is still behind bars, and somewhere inside Sebastian, one promise remains unfinished. Their story may have ended here, but their journey isn't truly over.